Captain Jack Sparrow may love to play tricks on his foes, but we would never want you to fall for any lies that you may have been told about our favorite pirate. That's why we'll be trying to uncover the truth as we embark on the adventurous tall tales that we've heard about Jack Sparrow to try to distinguish fact from fiction. We wouldn't blame you if you're suddenly feeling a bit seasick to think that you've been lied to about your favorite seafaring captain. That's why we hope you'll join our crew as we set sail to take on more videos and keep you updated along the way.
Black Pearl is a real ship.
No, it's not.
There was one thing that Jack Sparrow loved more than anything. If Jack Sparrow had any love in his heart, it would have been for his ship. He enjoyed being the captain of a crew because it meant that he was in control and free from all obligations other than, of course, protecting his ship. You'll notice that Jack Sparrow takes great pride in the Wicked Wench. It's the first ship he's given by Culler Beckett, but of course, he has to agree to deliver a cargo of slaves for the ship to be Jack's to call his own. Jack hesitantly agrees to the deal, but decides to put the people on an island by the name of Kempa, where they will be concealed and safe from the East India Trading Company and Culler Beckett's wrath. It isn't long before Cutler's men find Jack Sparrow, branding him as a pirate and destroying the Wicked Wench by setting it on fire. Jack Sparrow is unable to save the wench, so he strikes a deal with Davy Jones that if he's allowed to pirate his own ship for 13 years, he will exchange 100 years of service aboard the Flying Dutchman. The Wicked Wench becomes the Black Pearl, which also becomes the ship the cursed crew takes after Barbossa organizes a mutiny against Jack Sparrow. Jack, of course, gets the Black Pearl back, only for it to be dragged to the bottom of the sea by the Kraken. One thing is for certain, Jack Sparrow will not be long without a ship to sail to freedom or in another adventure that will most likely end in death or imprisonment, and sometimes both at once.
So we've established my proposal is sound in principle, now we're just haggling over price.
Captain Jack Sparrow chose freedom above all else. Given any opportunity to be free, Jack Sparrow will gladly jump on the chance, which is often why he finds himself imprisoned or nearly dead. Freedom comes at a high price, but luckily for him, he has a magical compass that is used more often than not to give him the one thing he desires most: freedom. Jack Sparrow went so far as to battle the legendary sea monster, the Kraken, who most did not live to tell the tale of seeing, let alone escaping. He wanted the ability to be free from any obligations, including being forced to work as a slave for Davy Jones for the remainder of his life. Captain Jack Sparrow knew that he would one day have to face the Kraken, as he'd been marked with the black spot. Jack had managed to escape Davy Jones' beastie from reaching him by staying away from open waters, but it was when he least expected it that the Kraken finally caught up with him and threatened to take away his freedom to replace it with eternal suffering, and even death would have been an escape. But to be captured by Davy Jones meant that Jack Sparrow would be punished and imprisoned forever.
She looks great.
Jack Sparrow's mother was an Indian maiden. Does anyone ever notice how big a plot hole there is with Jack Sparrow's mother? And perhaps the writers at this point are just making the mysterious woman remain that way as some cruel joke to the fans. We do have two clues about Jack Sparrow's mother. The first clue is that she's an Indian maiden, and the second is that she's now always close by as a shrunken head hanging on Jack's dad. There's another interesting theory circulating that Jack's mother actually came from the cannibal village that he visited. First of all, Jack Sparrow and his father, Captain Edward Teague, did not dress like the rest of the pirates. Their clothing is much more flamboyant and colorful, and their hair is braided as if they're from the Caribbean. We also know that Jack's father had formerly visited the island, and Jack Sparrow can speak the language perfectly as if he had been around the cannibals before. The theory is that Jack's father, Captain Teague, fell in love and impregnated one of the natives and tried to steal her so that they could run away together, but was unsuccessful in doing so. The natives loved his father, so they allowed the child to be born, but the mother was punished for going outside of the tribe, and she became a shrunken head as a result. Harsh.
This is the day that you will always...
Johnny Depp fits his character perfectly. It's not a lie to say that Johnny Depp is one of the nicest people in Hollywood. In fact, he loves to visit kids in costume as Captain Jack Sparrow, but the actor goes above and beyond to prove he has a heart of gold. Johnny Depp has proven multiple times that he just loves to be in character. He was also spotted in Disneyland surprising fans at the Pirate of the Caribbean attraction in the Jack Sparrow costume. On the last day of production on Stranger Tides, the rain didn't let up, so Johnny made sure the crew was protected no matter the cost. Johnny Depp definitely won over his Pirates of the Caribbean crew after he spent over $60,000 to make sure they all had waterproof jackets to stay warm and dry from the sudden drop in temperature while they were filming. This also isn't the first kind gesture he's shown the crew, as he would also send in wine from his very own vineyards for the cast and crew members to enjoy while working on the films.
Fancy that.
Captain Jack Sparrow is one of the 9 Lords of the Sea that actually existed. The Brethren of the Coast were a real group of pirates dedicated to creating a life of piracy that also followed certain guidelines and boundaries.
See, the Pirate King is elected by popular vote.
Pirates of the Caribbean needed to make sure that they had some historical information correct, which is why it makes sense to make one of the main characters, Jack Sparrow, part of the Lords of the Sea. The Brethren of the Coast are referred to as the Brother in Court, but act much the same way as they did historically. The fictionalized version included the idea behind the pieces of 8, which could be used to bind Calypso to her mortal body, and as a way to hold and call each other into meetings. Each of the 9 Lords of the Sea had an item that they referred to as the Pieces of 8. We're still not sure why it isn't called the Pieces of 9, but I agree that's a question for another time. Maybe the Pirate Lords were allowed to use a personal day if they couldn't make an important meeting. The 9 pieces were a small brandy goblet, a wooden eyeball, a Queen of Spades playing card, a pair of spectacles, Jade Captain's knot, a pair of tobacco cutters, a Siamese coin woven into Moroccan beads, a calf horn snuff box, and a broken bottleneck with a cork on the string. It seems like a lot of junk to hold a dangerous sea goddess in human pints. Captain Jack Sparrow can't escape his villains, even the ones he's already killed. For some reason, Captain Jack Sparrow just can't seem to catch a break. You'll notice that in Dead Man's Chest, Captain Jack visits Tia Dalma's shack, and as he lifts up the large black hat with the feather, you may notice that the hat looks familiar. It should be explained that Captain Jack Sparrow takes particular interest in the hat because of the ostrich feather. He realizes that it belongs to an enemy he thought was dead. But 2, another small nod to the fact that we will be seeing Barbossa in the near future was that as soon as Jack Sparrow releases the pet monkey named Jack from his cage, the animal immediately begins to play with a pair of boots. These boots belong to the monkey's former owner, which is why he takes such a keen interest in them. Although we're not certain how Barbossa comes back to life, it's quite possible that Jack the monkey helped him after he realizes what an Aztec coin did by slipping a coin in Barbossa's hand to bring him back to life, although in cursed form.
And guess what's inside it?
Number 7. Johnny Depp improvised quite a few lines. These aren't blatant lies that are told to us as fans of Jack Sparrow, but what Johnny Depp brought to our favorite pirate may go even further than we originally thought. In fact, some of our favorite scenes were probably improvised. For example, in Curse of the Black Pearl's final scene, you'll recall that Jack Sparrow says,
Bring me that horizon.
and it's so good that it has to be written in the script, right? It turns out that Johnny Depp was just going by instinct when he muttered the lines, but it fit so well in the scene that it was never cut. It also ended up being the name of a British rock band that fell in love with the line, although they often refer to themselves as BMTH instead. And if you had the chance to see Dead Man's Chest, you would have noticed that although Jack Sparrow calling Davy Jones Fish Face feels perfectly timed, it was nowhere in the script, and after the name calling, Johnny Depp begins to sing,
I got a jar of death,
which also turns out to be improvised. Johnny Depp's hilarious improvisations are met with some of the greatest character reactions, and it's all completely real.
Sweet proliferous bouquet that is Tortuga.
Tortuga was not a fictional island. Historically speaking, Tortuga was actually an accurate location for Pirates of the Caribbean. The island, which got its name from being shaped like a giant turtle, was named by the Spanish who first discovered it, but it was French settlers that quickly laid their claim to the island. Strategically, this was an important island for France because it would have been the last stop of the treasure fleet before returning to Spain. This meant that Tortuga was the perfect place to ambush Spanish fleets that were returning from the treasure fleet. The island was used as a safe harbor for any ships that wasn't Spanish, but the safety came at a price. If ships wanted to stay on the island, the crew would have to agree to attack Spanish ships and split the booty, which eventually led to the creation of the Brethren of the Coast. If you'll remember correctly, Jack Sparrow was part of the Pirates Council and even attended a meeting on the island of Tortuga. Tortuga is an important part of Jack Sparrow's life since it's one of the only places on land that he enjoys, and the inhabitants have saved his life more than once before. Jack Sparrow even references that if every town in the world were like Tortuga, no man would ever feel unwanted. It's a reference to both the island's ability to be a safe harbor for everyone, except the Spanish, because the Buccaneers and the French did not like them.
A terrible curse.
Captain Jack Sparrow does not get cursed with his crew. Captain Jack Sparrow, once returning to the pirate life, realizes he's missing an essential piece of the puzzle, a crew. He sails to Tortuga on his ship, the Black Pearl, and announces he's searching for pirates to help him track down an ancient treasure. One of the men that agree to join his crew and becomes first mate is Hector Barbossa. Barbossa has quite a loyalty with a few of the other crew members aboard the Black Pearl, and he leaves Jack Sparrow to die on a deserted island after an organization organized mutiny. Jack Sparrow warns that the treasure is cursed, but the crew believes that it's just a ghost story to scare away pirates in search of it. Some have wondered why Captain Jack Sparrow was never cursed when the crew found the Aztec gold in the caves on the Isla de Muerta. In order for the curse to fully take place, a pirate would have to remove one of the gold coins. Although Jack Sparrow is never formally cursed for his crew's actions, he does use one of the Aztec coins as a way to win a fight against the Barbosa before the pirate can break the curse by sacrificing Will and finding all 882 pieces of Aztec gold.
Captain Jack Sparrow, if you please.
Captain Jack Sparrow wasn't always a pirate. You know that saying, a pirate's life is the life for me? Well, apparently, that wasn't always the case for our favorite Disney pirate, Captain Jack Sparrow. Jack was forced to abandon the pirate life because of a group of rogue pirates. The rogue pirates were well known because they did not follow the code of the pirate brethren and would slaughter their victims and take the prize they came for. These rogue pirates allowed Jack to escape with his life as long as he gave up the pirate life. So, Captain Jack Sparrow took on employment with the East India Trading Company. During his time with the EITC, Jack was faithful for 5 years and was even given command of a ship called the Wicked Wench, which was owned by Culler Beckett, the EITC director of West Africa and Jack's boss. Jack was asked to use the ship to search for the mystical island of Kerma and the legendary treasure, but when Jack Sparrow discovered the island, he didn't want to allow Beckett and his slave traders to take the inhabitants. Instead of bringing the inhabitants to Beckett, Jack instead decided to liberate the people and steal the Wicked Wench. The liberation of the slaves borders on the edge of an act not usually associated with pirates, even though he was labeled as one after that time.
That way, direction.
Did you catch any lies about your favorite captain that you feel weren't revealed? If so, tell us about them in the comments. And what's your opinion on Jack Sparrow's mother? Is she really the shrunken head that he carries around, or just a distraction from the truth? That might be one lie that's never revealed, but we hope it will be by the 9th installment of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Thanks for watching, and we hope this video didn't make you want to walk the plank. In fact, we really hope it made you want to subscribe to our channel to be a part of our crew. Yarr!